Welcome to Season 5 of Overwatch 2 with a fantasy RPG theme. This season is going to run from June 13 to August 10 and is going to include the return of summer games, Winston Beach Volleyball, Lucio Ball, a brand new prop hunt game mode called Mischief and Magic, that sounds cool, turn into a barrel, poof, and of course the balance update, which, well, we'll talk about that in a moment, right after a word from our sponsor, Displate. Whatever you enjoy in life, Displate is all about collecting your passions and showing them off. Displates are one-of-a-kind metal posters designed to capture your passions with over 1.3 million branded and artistic designs. I have a few official Overwatch branded ones like this Zenyatta and this Ana. Next is this artistic piece, an immersive gaming station which represents me quite well. You can customize, collect, and rearrange them at will because they're easy to put up. No power tools, no nails, and no damage on your walls. You can take them down and mount another one thanks to some magnets so you can redecorate however you want. They're printed in the EU and can deliver within 4 to 5 business days to over 56 countries. If you order 1 to 2 Displates, you get 20% off, but if you order 3 or more, you get 30% off. Be sure to use my promo code KarQ and check out my collection in the link below. Now back to the video. Junker Queen is first on the chopping block to get some nerfs. First, the commanding shout temp health for herself is reduced from 200 to 150. Teammates still get 50 over health, which remains unchanged. Her ultimate cost is also being increased by 15%, so it's a little slower to build up. The dev comments, the last round of Junker Queen changes increased both her sustained damage and self-healing. Hence, she ends up staying alive and in the fight longer, which was the intent, but naturally her ultimate charges much more quickly on average as a result. The passive adrenaline rush healing becoming more potent has been interesting for gameplay as it's tied to landing her abilities. To bring her survivability more in line, we're shifting some of the power out of commanding shout's temporary health gained for Junker Queen herself. I'm fine with this. Roadhog, after getting his one-shot gutted a few months ago, is finally receiving a small buff to his Take a Breather, where it now amplifies healing received for 2.5 seconds after using it. This acts like a friendly and a nade healing amplifier. The dev comments, we would like to see Roadhog be even sturdier as he's an immobile tank with minor damage blocking ability. His sustainability is already quite powerful when alone, so this is more of a team-oriented change. Take a Breather briefly increasing healing received will enable the support heroes on Roadhog's team to help him recover more quickly. Cassidy's magnetic grenade is receiving quite a rework in its capabilities. First, it no longer has a maximum projectile range of 10 meters, and instead now magnetizes toward an enemy target from 1.5 meters away, and it'll chase for up to 1 second. The impact damage is increased from 0 to 10, but the explosion damage is reduced from 120 to 70. That's a big nerf to the damage, so it doesn't feel as cheap, but there's a catch. Now here's the buffs. First, the nade has always been a 1.2 second duration before exploding when it's stuck on you, and now stuck targets have their movement speed slowed by 30%, and are affected by a hindered status effect, which interrupts and prevents movement abilities from being activated. So, for 1.2 seconds, that duration of you being stuck. Like as a Tracer, you can't blink or recall. As a Moira, you can't fade. As Winston, you can't leap, so on and so forth. The developer comments, the overall goals for Magnetic Grenade are to shift its use from purely damage into more of a utility and change its deployment behavior from a close range lock-on to more of an aimed projectile that magnetizes if it gets close to an enemy target. The previous stuck banner text alert confused Tracer Pulse Bomb's message, so this mobility locking status effect is being referred to as hindered from now on. For Hanzo, the Storm Bow's maximum damage is reduced from 125 to 120. For his Sonic Arrow, there's an impact sound effect that now plays for the enemies, and the visual effect is now briefly visible to enemies when first deployed with that red glow. There's more awareness and indicators for the enemy team to know whether they're scanned, so that's a nerf to Hanzo's advantage here. The developer comments, the Stormbow damage adjustment is a small but significant change so that heroes with 250 health won't be eliminated with 1 critical damage shot, being Mei and Reaper. We've also updated the sound and visual for when Sonic Arrow initially lands to give nearby enemies more awareness that the ability was used. Mei is getting big changes. Her endothermic blaster, the damage per second is reduced from 100 to 55. That's a massive nerf. However, the primary fire slow is no longer always a 40% slow, and it now scales from 30 to 50%. but it also builds up a slowing effect that'll stick to the enemy target for 1.5 seconds and actually slow them for more at 75%. Now, the secondary fire, the icicle, can detonate the new slowing effect, which will deal an additional 40 damage. The developer comments that this set of Mei changes is intended to bring back some of the gameplay and feeling that Mei's primary fire used to have previously. They mean in Overwatch 1 for the new players, though without the hard crowd control of a full freeze stun. Reaper's Wraith form can no longer be activated while affected by mobility locking effects such as the new magnetic grenade change, steel trap, graviton surge, etc. The dev comments that the Reaper and Moira changes are addressing an inconsistency with the interaction of Wraith or Fade with mobility locking effects such as Junkrat's steel trap, Sig's gravitic flux, Zarya's grab, and Cassidy's magnetic grenade. They are now disabled similarly to Tracer's recall or Sombra's translocator, which are abilities that also phase out and can move the player. Tracer's pulse pistols, the spread is actually increased by 15%. That's a pretty big nerf. The dev comments that we uncovered a bug that was setting Tracer's maximum weapon spread smaller than intended. We will be monitoring the results of this one closely, as fixing it may have significant impact on her overall effectiveness. Okay, Widowmaker, massive nerfs. Her weapon, Widow's Kiss. The scoped shot damage fall off min-max range is reduced from 70 to 100 to 40 to 60 meters. The scope shot maximum damage fall off scalar, like the amount the damage falls off, is increased from 30 to 50%. These are both nerfs, by the way. I'll show you. The dev comments that these changes to Widowmaker's weapons fall off are intended to reduce her one-shot capabilities on maps with extremely long sight lines. The average range to still eliminate a 200 health hero at full charge is around 50 meters. A fully charged critical shot will still eliminate 150 health targets regardless of its range. This is a big nerf to her on maps with strong sight lines. So here are some examples. Ilios Ruins before, you can one-shot people on point here, and then the after, where the 150 damage max headshot from here. You have to play in this position to one-shot 200 HP heroes on point, which means you're actually one Winston leap or one Diva booster away from getting brushed down. Here's the Junkertown before and after, Havana's before and after, and Circuit Royale before and after. And Lifeweaver finally getting some love after a terrible Season 4 launch of him. First, a general change to his hitbox where the petal ornaments on his back have had their size and hit volume reduced by 10%. That's a good start. The Healing Blossom max healing is increased from 65 to 75. The Thorn Volley damage per projectile is increased from 5 to 6. The projectile radius is increased from 0.1 to 0.125, and the ammo is increased from 60 to 70. The pedal platform walkable area is increased by 15%, and the area to trigger the lift now shrinks from a radius of 2 to 0.75 meters after its initial placement. This is actually a buff, so people don't accidentally activate it when their toe touches it before anyone else can get on the center. That's pretty good. The life grip cooldown is reduced from 20 to 16 seconds, and it also heals the target ally for 50 HP. The Tree of Life ultimate cost is going to be increased by 8%. The dev comments that Lifeweaver's stats have been improving over time, but he's still underperforming. These adjustments are primarily straightforward improvements to nearly every aspect of his kit outside of his ultimate ability, which received a small cost adjustment for the increased healing and damage output. The pedal platform area shrinking is a quality of life change intended to help avoid accidentally activating the lift after it has been placed. Finally, for Moira, the Fade can no longer be activated while affected by mobility locking effects like magnetic grenade, steel trap, graviton surge. This is the same developer comments as Reaper's. The Reaper and Moira changes are addressing an inconsistency with the interaction of Wraith form or Fade with mobility locking effects such as Junkrat's steel trap, Sigma's grab, Zarya's grab, and Cassidy's magnetic grenade. They are now disabled similarly to Tracer's Recall or Sombra's Translocator, which are abilities that also phase out and can move the player. For the map changes, there's new lighting in Busan, Overcast. For Rialto, new lighting, we have Evening Time. And for Watchpoint Gibraltar, they actually completely redesigned the final Defender spawn area. No longer are you going to have spawn doors there and there with the stairs. There's a piece of cover here, a piece of cover there, and a big wall with two different spawn doors. That's spawn door 1, that's spawn door 2 behind the wall. When you go inside, This is what it looks like. If you die as a defender, you're going to start right here. You choose a door. If you choose door number 1 on the right, it's going to walk into this section right behind that wall I mentioned earlier. Left door, and here's the angle you have. You are able to stand and spawn and probably shoot the people on the high ground over here. If you are on the second defender point, right here, there is a back entrance, or back exit, excuse me, from the back of this spawn. When you start into this room, a lot of people will come out here, or they come out this door, right? That hasn't changed, but now there's an extra path to exit out. There is a piece of cover right here that now blocks this door, this open sight line, so it's a bit more powerful for attackers to actually come out this way. You can duck behind cover safely. You do lose an offensive angle. It looks like this box behind the mega health pack has been changed. It looks like it's higher. When you're up top, there's less of an obstruction, only a tiny box to stop you, to protect you from up here. And down below, there's an extra spool here that you can use as a piece of cover. The door inside Gibraltar's second hangar is going to be a little bit different. If you come out here, the door is wider and you have to swing to your left, so you can tuck into this corner and jiggle accordingly, so you have a bit of piece of cover so you don't get choked out. And alternatively, on the left side, there is the first door that you normally are used to, except they opened up this wall here with some stairs. You're now able to come up into the back entrance of this room here. So a lot more attacking options, because on Gibraltar a lot of teams would hold. This is a good change for the map. One more big change is that the on fire system returns. The idea of the system is to make sure players feel good when doing well. It's a psychological thing, and for the new players who never played Overwatch 1, here's how it works. Every time you contribute to the team, you get a fire symbol and a number representing how many fire points you earned. You deal more damage, you get more fire. You tickle them, you barely get any fire. And when you reach a certain threshold of fire, you're on fire. Your hero says a voice line and your portrait lights up. There's also now a new state called blazing, where really exceptional top performers will blaze. And here's what it looks and sounds like. The difference in the new system is something called catching fire, and if you kill an enemy that's on fire, it'll grant you a lot of bonus fire. That's all for Season 5. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.